Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Right now in the One Piece manga, we're witnessing more and more of Luffy's awakening, and we are seeing many more new abilities, but there's still secrets to be unveiled. Now Luffy's Gear 5th, although really impressive, there could be a possibility that Luffy might be able to further evolve his power, and thus fully awakening the power of his Devil Fruit. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the possibility of Luffy awakening Gear 6th, and thus obtaining the full potential of this mysterious Devil Fruit. And then we're going to comment on how the power of this last awakening could actually be. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like, and even subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it continues to motivate us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, in these more current chapters, we've seen that Luffy does indeed have the power equivalent to a Yonko, and that really does make him one of the 4 most powerful pirates on the seas. However, it still might be necessary for Luffy to overcome even more powerful enemies, so that way he's finally able to reach that level and title of King of the Pirates. So it may in fact be necessary for Luffy to fully awaken the power of his Devil Fruit and obtain the final transformation to Nika, or what might be called Gear 6th. But for this to happen, Luffy would need to face increasingly more powerful challenges as well as opponents, and he would also have to keep improving his mastery of Haki. Furthermore, he'd probably need to train tirelessly, not only to strengthen his body and his mind, but also develop an even greater understanding of his own capabilities, as well as his limitations. So it's only through a combination of experience, hard training, and then facing those extreme situations that Luffy's gonna finally unlock this next stage of his power and reach that long-awaited Gear 6, or what some people in the States might call an overdrive. So Luffy unlocking this ability would be the full awakening of his Gomu Gomu no Mi, which we actually know is the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. And in awakening this advanced stage, one of the things that we could think about is what we saw during Gear 5th could be just the hybrid form of Luffy and Nika, because obviously anything else we've seen with a mythical Devil Fruit does have that hybrid transformation. So what we don't know is Luffy rubber in his human form? Gear 5th is kind of his hybrid form, and finally when he reaches Gear 6th, that is the true Nika godly form. In Luffy's case, the full awakening of this Hito Hito no Mi would open a door to a whole new dimension of power. And with that mythical Zoan form, Luffy could probably fuse the elastic characteristics of his Devil Fruit with the divine and legendary attributes of the sun god Nika. Luffy's stretching ability would extend to abstract concepts like gravity or time or anything else that you could think about, where he could simply just, oh, I'm gonna stretch time, or I'm gonna do this, or stretching the entire universe. This really opens up a whole new dimension of abilities that we have yet to see in this story. With this power, Luffy wouldn't just get unrivaled levels of strength, speed, and endurance. He might be able to get the control and shape of his elasticity in even more precise and versatile ways, where he could shrink and stretch various individual parts of his body in much more exaggerated ways. This would allow him to adapt to any battle situation much more effectively, and his movements would be so fluid and agile that it could really almost seem supernatural. Another fascinating possibility would be Luffy's ability to regenerate or somehow heal more efficiently, and this awakened Gear 6 form could speed up this healing process, allowing him to recover from serious injuries almost instantly, kind of like what Katakuri did with his Mochi Mochi powers, making him able to withstand devastating attacks without ever becoming incapacitated. Gear 6 would be that ultimate manifestation of Luffy's elastic, godlike power, and it would provide him with abilities beyond even our imagination, where his awakened form would be the perfect combination of strength, flexibility, endurance, and it would take him to even new heights in the quest to become the Pirate King. Luffy might even get the ability to integrate his advanced Haki skills much more effectively into his techniques, where he could wrap his elastic body with an even greater coating of energy. With all of this in mind, Luffy's punches and kicks would be even more devastating, where he could break through the most solid of enemy defenses. And also his defense capability would be up, because we saw what he was able to do in Wano, and if he gained even greater control and more elasticity over over his body, he'd pretty much be untouchable and be able to absorb or even dissipate the force of incoming attacks. With even greater mastery of observation haki, Luffy would then be able to anticipate his opponent's movements with much more clarity and precision, where he could predict an enemy's attack and react efficiently, much again like we saw Katakuri doing, where he was able to stretch holes into his bodies and then effectively counterattack at any time he wanted. And of course, the best part about imagining what Gear 6 could be would be all the unique and special abilities that Luffy might unlock. For instance, Luffy might be able to get an elastic body that allowed him to extend his physical attacks to even greater extreme distances, where he could have a spring punch that would be able to deliver incredible power but still reach opponents from afar and catch them off guard. Another possibility would be the use of his haki further enhancing his flexibility and agility, where he could anticipate the movements and then use his surroundings and his bodies to his actual advantage, where he could stretch not only himself but the terrain and dodge traps. This means that his ability to quickly react and adapt to any battle situation would become even more impressive. One other property that'd be really interesting to see in Luffy's hands would be if he could alter the density of his rubber body, where he could make a specific part of his body much more dense and rigid, and where it would not only increase the power of his attacks, but also give him a shield that he could block with. But on the other hand, the upgrade might just extend to his overall flexibility, which even if he could just dodge, it means he's still not getting hit. And also at his level, another thing to think about is at that level, Luffy might get an even greater ability to affect the environment, where he'd stretch the ground and walls and other objects and even make supports or using them as platforms or any different kind of way he could see fit. And this manipulation of the environment would give Luffy an additional tactical advantage where he could explore the scenery to the fullest, where it would give him a real great advantage against enemies. And as I mentioned earlier, with his body much more elastic, it'd be able to go around and shape around different enemies' attacks and then just snap right back to its original form. And this not only reduces incoming damage and his ability to take more devastating attacks, Luffy might be able to counteract his enemies' attacks in really special ways. I mean, there've been a lot of discussion out there in the community about the fact that what could Luffy do and really counteract when it comes to fighting Blackbeard? Because if Blackbeard has the ability to control gravity and then with the Goto no Mi literally crack the world in half, Luffy could probably avoid that by just letting everything shake rather than all of the devastation if the world remains solid. So with Luffy's final awakening and obtaining the last Gear 6 transformation, this could play a crucial role in not only strengthening and enhancing his powers, but with this final power obtained, he might also have a radiant energy emit from his body, like something that rather than the smoke or steam around his body, he would actually have energy or light, because this would further symbolize Luffy's relentless quest for freedom and representing the sun, where his fruit still has that great link. Since the beginning of Luffy's journey as a pirate in the world of One Piece, he's always been a symbol of freedom and justice, and he's had that relentless struggle against oppression and always his quest to bring joy and freedom to those around him, and it's been very central to his personality from a very young age. By going into Gear 6, Luffy would absolutely and fully become the Liberation Warrior, and this form would become a symbol of rebellion against the power structures that have oppressed the One Piece world, and Luffy would be able to lead that fight for freedom in a much more meaningful way. One other distinctive trait Gear 6 might have could be the ability to fully inspire and unite those around him. Now, of course, Luffy's always demonstrated that charisma where he can turn former enemies into allies. But what if we turn that up to 11 and his mere presence would bring hope and courage to the hearts of those fighting for freedom, where his aura would be charged with the power of determination and justice, and it would therefore strengthen his allies and maybe even weaken his opponents. Gear 6 also could represent a new phase in Luffy's journey as the Liberation Warrior, and he would be more than just a pirate fighting other pirates. Luffy would assume the role of a leader and a symbol of hope and endurance for all those who yearn for freedom. His fight wouldn't just be for his own journey and his own goals along with his friends, but rather for the liberation of all of those who are oppressed and wronged, thus changing the world completely through his determination and everything that he has that's been predestined from the moment he ate this mysterious devil fruit. Now, even though we don't know if Luffy would ever get a Gear 6, the chance is really undeniable because this is of course a shonen manga, and we need to elevate Luffy to newer heights and cement him as that true warrior of liberation as well as the pirate king. And who knows, this might all be a part of getting the One Piece treasure and really realizing what the secrets of the world are. So who knows what could happen to the world, but we know that the fall of the world government is gonna have to happen, because Luffy wouldn't settle for a world where his friends can't eat as much as they want and aren't sold at auction, where there would be harmony between all the races and maybe not even that big of a social class difference like we see with the celestial dragons. But with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. Do you think, first of all, that Gear 6 might happen? Or what might it be? I mean, there has been a lot of different discussion in the community, so what might be that next evolution? And what kind of crazy powers do you think might come with him fully attaining that Nika form? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, we'd like to thank you all so much for watching, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.